welcome to Altenberg, Germany for the 5th stop on the Women's World Cup Skeleton Tour. Hello everybody, I'm John Morgan, joined by Greg West, former member of the U.S. Skeleton team. And we're here in this Olympic season. We're starting to get an idea who are the people that are going to challenge for Olympic medals. And Greg, you've been on this track. This track is a real challenge to any sliding athlete coming down, and especially these skeleton athletes.
Absolutely, John. Good afternoon, everybody in Europe, or good morning if you are in North America. Welcome to sunny Altenberg, Germany. This is one of the most technical tracks in the world. Some would say one of the most difficult tracks in the world to get down quickly and without too much drama. The start ramp is incredibly long. We'll see start times closer to the 6-second marks for the ladies. Some of them be a little under that, the 580s. And then going down the track, this corner right here, the Omega, turn 4 into turn 5. Odds are we'll see some action there. You'll see sliders hitting on the sliders left and maybe picking up a bunk and landing on a shoulder through there. Then turn 9 into this long straightaway. Give plenty of time to think about this 360-degree Kreisel that has 3 to 4 pressures depending on the ice conditions. I think because of the frost today, we may see a 4th pressure on the end for those that don't get it quite right. Big pressure into 13 and then exit of 14 uphill and over the brow. You'll see some sleds with a little bit of action there. And now it's time to pin your head down, put your feet together, and enjoy the speed for the last couple of corners and across the finish line. That is a trip down the track here in Altenberg, Germany.
Yeah, this track opened up back in the mid-80s. It's been around, and it's one of the most challenging World Cup standings. Kimberly Boss of the Netherlands is in the lead. I would like to know what the odds on that were early in the season. Nicotina, Herman, Flock, you expect all those names up there. And nice surprise from the Italian Valentina Margaglio. She is really impressive. Jacqueline Loling back in 12th. That's not what you expect out of that German athlete. And all the way down to Leslie Stratton in the World Cup standings in 30th. And the qualification for the Olympics is coming into play now. And there's a lot of people that aren't out here looking to win the race or get on the podium as much as to advance their placing and qualify for their Olympic games. So there's a lot of races within the race here today. And Greg, you know that.
Yeah, there's, as you said, there's a lot of people that, I mean, everybody wants to go out and try to win the race, but it's the race within the race. It's maybe it's racing against your countrymen trying to qualify one of the quota spots, or maybe it's just racing to look for a number. Anybody that's outside of the probably top 8 in points, first thing they want to do in the first heat, make the top 20, make sure you get a second run, and then you pin your ears back and are trying to move up spots. Points are everything this Olympic year. Qualification is important. There's a big party in February I think everybody wants to go to.
Well, here's our start list. You can see that, and it's a draw. Top 6, first 3 athletes. Here's our first one. I've never seen this athlete, Caroline Alexa Andre from Switzerland.
She made her World Cup debut last week in Winterberg. Had a pretty good result. She's been bouncing back and forth. I think saw her on some ICCs earlier this season out in Park City and Whistler.
Yeah, you're all over it. She did finish 27th. That's why I didn't see it, because I didn't do the race like you did. But
some drama going into turn 5, though. Just like we said, hits that bunk on the wall after a little bit of a flop out of turn 4. But she's setting the pace today.
Well, look at the fog. It's starting to get a little dark. Look at, she disappears. You don't want to disappear in that curve, but she gets away with it.
Pulls it off on the exit. And what will be interesting is we talk about Olympic qualification, John, is the start draw. These first 3 athletes are drawn from lower in the field. It's a random draw, and the ice looks really good right now for her. She's having a little bit of a wild run here at the bottom of the track, but she's got the best ice of the competition. And when it goes back, comes to those that she usually races against, 102.61, because there's a lead right now. But when she's compared to those that she's typically racing against in the mid-20s, she definitely has an advantage by having the good ice today. We'll see if she's able to capitalize on that with the 102. Might be difficult to make the cut with that run, though. We see turn 4 high on the first wave, dips way low, catches it with the toe, but as she comes out, comes over and clips that left wall. Does she get picked up? She squeaks it through.
We'll be looking at those pictures a lot. That's a pivotal part of the track. And then down here out of 15 to 15, you don't want to be skidding like that. But this young Swiss athlete's through and down and trying to make a second run. Next up from China, Yang Zhu. You know, she's been in half of the World Cups. Did not make the cut last week in Winterberg, but in this race 2 weeks ago, she was 19.
5:61 start time. Pretty strong start time from Zhu. Gives her 3/10 in the bank. Ooh, a big skid though, 2 to 3. And that pretty much negates that start advantage.
She can get
through the forward 5 transition.
As we saw in the men's competition, there's no lead that's safe in this track, especially when you can't see anything. Yeah, Sammy Meyer posted the second best time this morning's race. Went from like 11th to 5th, his best finish ever. Congratulations to him.
Some big waves from Zhu through Kreisel. She pulled it off though. She got the rhythm right and is extending her lead out to almost a second. 85 hundredths. Faster speed than the Swiss gal. Through and down. 101.51. She leads by 1.1 seconds over Carolyn. Once again, I think Carolyn may struggle to make the second heat with that. She had a little rough bottom of the track. But I'm curious how much speed the track has in it. It's significantly slower than it was 2 weeks ago. We see the big wave. She completely disappears between the first and second wave. Gets up near the woodwork. I was a little concerned on the exit, and then all of a sudden, John, comes out nice and clean. Exit turn 14, up and over the brow. Comes over the skid and hitting the wall. We'll see how that compares to the rest of the ladies coming down the track today, and whether this holds on to get her into the second heat.
She covered a lot of track there. Okay, Laura Dees, our Olympic bronze medalist from 2018, who, you know, didn't have a very good World Championships here last year on this track. She had a terrible first run and posted some single-digit finishes in the third and fourth runs. Ended up finishing 15th. And a couple weeks ago when she was here, didn't do so well either. She didn't make the cut. And Greg, this is the Olympic silver medalist. How could she not be making the cut?
Now, this is interesting. I've been watching Laura slide for a long time and watching, obviously, closely this year. By the way, 5.50. She's up half a second as she goes to the top of the track. Her lines have been good. Her pushes have been good. Her speeds have not. And I'm curious if they've got an equipment issue with those BlackRock sleds because they have not been carrying the speed the entire year. She's actually bleeding time to the Chinese slider right now, and she has great-looking lines.
Well, you just mentioned all of that criteria, the sled. We talked about the sled because she's doing everything else right, just not fast at the bottom. I question whether or not her coaches are in the same capacity, because Andy Schmidt is no longer coaching the British. He's now coaching the Chinese.
Yeah, the Chinese definitely re-upped for this Olympics.
Do you think she misses Andy Schmidt? I mean, she won on this track. In 2015, she won the opening race of the World Cup on this track. So she's done well on this track before, but boy, her results this season it's not something you would expect. She's 19th in World Cup points. She's missed the cut twice, and she's had 2 20th place finishes. Don't get it. Well, now we get into our top competitors. Here's Hannah Nies. She's first German of 3 that we're going to see, and this young German athlete from Winterberg, here's her home track. She's been quietly moving up the leaderboard. She's 9th in World Cup points, 9th last week. She was 4th on this track 2 weeks ago, so that tells me she can slide. But look how far back she is at the start. Wow.
5:91 start time, so she has some work to do, but I have a feeling she's going to claw it back.
Now, Laura Dees just came down, and her athletic background is she was an equestrian rider. We always talk about that being the only in the field. Hannah Neese is a former equestrian and gymnast. So back-to-back equestrian athletes here. How about that?
1800ths of a second back on D's. Good speed though.
Yeah, she's going to overtake
nice
Dees.
line in the green. Wow.
Yeah.
Boy, she's
She
pulling
was
away
fourth.
now.
She was fourth 2 weeks ago. She's a speed merchant. Not at the top of the track, but at the bottom.
6100ths all of a sudden. Huge speed at the bottom compared to Laura. Oh, she can be a leader by almost a second. More than a second.
But you know, I'm telling you right now, the track, she's 2 seconds slower, 2 seconds and 10 slower than she was in her first heat 2 weeks ago when she was fourth. The track's 2 seconds slower, Greg. How much of a difference is that? Could you tell if it was 2 seconds slower when you're coming down this track?
Well, it makes a huge difference, specifically in Kreisel. We see her, I believe, coming out of turn 9. It's hard to tell because of all the fog. But when the track is slower, you actually can get a fourth wave in Kreisel. It picks you up on the end. So you actually have to change the way you drive the track. See the good lines from 14 to 15. Can't ask for much more quality run there from Hannah, provisional leader. That time's going to hold up for a while. I'm curious how high on the leaderboard she'll be.
Yulia Katakina, you know, her best sports background we always talk about. She's from ballet, always gets great starts. She was 7th in this event 2 weeks ago. Look at the start. Wow.
5-4-0.
Yeah, the Russians, all three of them get great starts. She had a 5.49 2 weeks ago. She's got a 5.40. So now how come if the start track's faster, but the down times are 2 seconds behind?
Well, on the start ramp, there's also this thing called want to. And sometimes you just, or need to. And you find a little bit more need to on the start. I need to push faster. And that might be the case here. Up 9200s.
200s up. Now, Nice finished 4th in this event 2 weeks ago. This young Russian finished 7th. Let's see if
Julia's on a burner.
40 or 50.
It'll come back a bit.
Yeah, but she's going to be the leader. Wow. So she just knocked off Hannah Neese. This is a good run for Katakina. 4,300s up, 59.54.
She's up 9,200s at the second split. So Hannah had a heck of a run, but Yulia pushed 5.40. So when you have that much, you know, a half second, Hannah pushed a 5.91, Yulia pushed a 5.40. So a half second at the start, about a half second at the bottom. That's where it was. You see her coming down into Kreisel.
She didn't get close to Hannah Neese in those 2 events. Hannah Neese had the second fastest time in the first heat 2 weeks ago. Katakina had the 9th and 6th. So I give the big advantage here to Katakina. She's got a chance to really move up in this race. Here's our standings. Yulia Katakina is in first of the first 5 sleds down so far. Now, another Russian, Terakova. Now, she did pretty good in the race here a couple weeks ago. She got second. So, here's 2 really good burners right off the bat.
A 5.45, another good start, just like her teammate Katakina. Alina's really kind of coming to her own this year. It seems like she's really figuring out on the fly. She's new to the World Cup scene, but it doesn't seem to be phased. She's 2/10 behind her teammate at the moment, but 2 weeks ago, she drove herself into a World Cup silver medal. We'll see if she can do that here.
3
Falling back
Russians
to
in the top.
Oh, big skid. Big skid on the entrance of Kreisel. That'll do it. She will not catch Katakina with that. That will kill her speed. Back 4/10, and it'll grow. It'll be closer to 7 at the bottom of the hill. That you cannot make that mistake there.
3 Russians in the top 8 in World Cup. There's one thing they all have in common. They're the best starters in the field. But you also have to drive. Katakina drove well. Boy, 6,400s back. That's unbelievable. When she was second a couple weeks ago, she was only out 3,100s from the goal in 2 heats. How good was Katakina, but how poor was here? I mean, you called it. You said the entrance to Kreisel.
Yeah, you cannot do this. You got a great looking inch up. It broke away from her. She had a skid going in, and then she skid the sled. It's harder to see in slow motion. You hear it more than you see it, but it just flattened that first loop out, and then the energy's gone. You cannot get it back, and you need that energy for the bottom of the hill. All of her speed's gone, and it's over.
Okay, here's the talk about queens of speed. Tina Herman, the 29-year-old who's a former alpine skier and the world champion on this track, and she won that pre-Olympic test over in China. She's the third in World Cup points, and she won this event 2 weeks ago. So, Greg, here's a good barometer on how it's all going to unfold right here.
577. That's not what Tina does well. She's not known for her starts, but she's known for everything that happens after she gets on the sled. She won this race last week with the fastest time of 57.52, so it'll be interesting to compare apples to apples here. So she's at 5800s back, call it 6/10 and change from Canakina right now. I expect her to bring that down and then some. Wow, the launch is insane.
4800s. I think she's going to do it. I think she's going to get down there. You know, she's going to be 59.40 or so, but 35. Next clock, she better get into the teens.
It's a good exit of 14.22. It's going to be close.
It's going to get close.
Get that speed. She's behind her teammate Nice in speed. I don't think she's going to do it. Oh,
she does.
Got there.
Wow. Still.
Close. Real close.
I mean, you expect her to be in first. You don't expect Canakina to be in second. Two Russians, two Germans atop of the leaderboard, and Laura Dees in fifth. I can't fault much of that run, but I thought she wouldn't have been that far behind. Look, she's never happy about her, you know, unless she's winning. Even when she wins the gold medal, she's still questioning her talent. Look at her form, though, Greg.
That's confidence through the Kreisel. She's putting on a clinic how to take care of the Kreisel. I mean, you can't really fault any of that. Exit turn 14, snaps it off right down the middle. There's no drift. There's no additional energy in the sled. Just a solid looking run from Tina. I think that run's going to hold up quite well.
Well, next up is our athlete from North Vancouver, Jane Chanel. She's, you know, mixed season. 10th in this race a couple weeks ago. Her best finish was 7th at Innsbruck in the first race. A good starter, you know, and just sometimes a little inconsistent.
5:49 start time, so that gives her a chance. And you're right, you know, Jane has her ups and she has her downs, and she just needs to find that consistency and that confidence for the rest of the season. Still in the green, a little bit off going through the 5-6 transition there, but she's got 3,500s in the bank. She just needs to manage it the rest of the way down the track. Oh, little tap, she's on the wrong side, going to the Kreisel. She disappears. She's gonna have to steer a ton. Oh, she does a good job of getting it out of the corner. That is a way you see sleds fly out of the exit. So she's gonna be down on time.
Greg, she was 800s up entering Kreisel, 5,800s down on the exit. What a
now
1.4.
It'll be more than that. It'll be closer to 2 seconds. 2.2 seconds.
Wow.
It's that first wave in Kreisel. It's
I
every
think she's going to struggle to make the cut with that run.
It's that first wave in Kreisel is the entire bottom of the track. If you don't manage that well,
Kreisel,
you're done.
Disappear is not the way. Disappearing act right here. When you see a skeleton sled disappear like that, did you ever do that, Greg?
Oh, absolutely. I have flown out of this corner more times than I didn't, probably. I'm an expert on how not to do this. But yeah, she did a really good job of managing it. She knew she was in trouble, and she got her toe down, and she really nailed the second steer in Kreisel and put herself back in the race. But she's going to struggle 2.2 seconds back.
Next up, Janine Flock, the World Cup season title holder from last year. Third in this race 2 weeks ago. She knows how to fly.
579.
She had a disastrous world championships on this track last season, finishing 16th. You know, and that's not what this lady does. This lady is she's another queen of speed. You know, but 7th last week in Winterberg. She's only got 1 podium. It was here in Altenberg 2 weeks ago.
Well, Janine's one of these Austrian gliders. The Austrians might leave a little bit on the start ramp, but what they do have is great aerodynamic form, and they are surgical going down the track. Janine's a great example of that right now. A little brush on the wall next to the Kreisel, 3rd best speed. She's 1,600 to the second back.
She's coming.
She's got to be in the single digits here on this split. No, 17, and that's a little rough transition going into turn 15. 3rd best speed of the bump. She won't be your leader, but she, yeah.
Top 3. There it is, 3,200s back. You know, she medaled here a couple weeks ago. It's taking shape. The person who's in the lead won this event a couple weeks ago. She's in 3rd. Janine Flock, she got 3rd a couple weeks ago. So the only difference is Kanakina is in 2nd.
I think that's a pretty solid run from Janine. Nice look here at the 11-12 transition going into turn 13. The initial pressure in turn 13 is so many G-forces. It really sucks your head down to the ice. You got to get your head low there, or it'll smash your face pretty good. Exit of turn 14, a little drift, and then comes over and hits the wall and actually picks the sled up. That's a lot of energy going up and not forward, and that's what cost the speed.
Next up from Belgium, Kim Meilmans. She's an accomplished slider. She's already won a World Cup medal this year. She's 5th in World Cup points, and she was 5th in this event 2 weeks ago.
Position here, 5:47. Kim has shown up this year with a start.
With a start. Yeah, you're right.
She didn't have a bad start before, but now she's got a good start. I mean, she just was kind of middle of the pack, and she is really pushing herself into races, and it's showing in the results. You know, 5th in overall points. She's in green numbers right now. She's got 3/10 up. So we'll see what she can do, but she definitely has a swagger about her this year and doing a heck of a job, you know, managing this World Cup schedule. 800s up, going into Kreisel, so it's only the 6th fastest speed. I don't know if she's going to be able to overhaul Tina.
No, 1200s. Boy, she goes in 6, comes out 12. But, you know, again, she's top 5 in this event 2 weeks ago. That's not going to help. She's still pretty good, though. This is a top 5.
Yeah, this would be a great run. She's 2/10 back.
Nice finish, 4th. Take it. Barely, no, she's tied. Our first tie of the day. We didn't have any tie in the men's competitions. There's Meilmans and Hananese are tied for 4th place.
Well, anytime you're tying a German on a German track, you're probably doing well. Once again, looking at her going into 13, she's just willing it to keep it off that wall. You want to go in as early as you can there without hitting the wall. Then exit turn 14, comes out and just little clip there, pushes her across. She does a pretty good job of managing it and keeping the sled straight. Skids in these conditions today on this frosty ice are going to
Tina Herman's the leader. Yulia Kanakina. Janine Flock's in 3rd. 10 sleds down, 17 more to go. Now, Alina Nikitina. So watch out here for this start. This is the best starting athlete in the field. She's 2nd in World Cup points, but she only finished 11th in this race 2 weeks ago.
5:26.
She outpushed how many men from this morning's race?
A few.
I hate to bring that up.
Hey, I've been outpushed by her a few times, so it's perfectly okay. She's got a half-second bank right now, which is helpful. 6/10 over Tina right now, so she's extending, but that'll happen with that push time. What we'll see at the next time split is it'll probably level out at around 6/10.
Yeah.
No, she lost time.
Lost everything. She's got a little love-hate with this track.
9th fastest speed coming in, 7th fastest speed coming out, so it's going to come back quick. It'll probably be 2,500s behind at this split. 3,500s. She's losing speed quickly.
She was a bronze medalist in the World Championships last year. Probably would have done better, but she was pretty inconsistent. And boy, that's not a good run. She had the 16th best time in the third run of the World Championships, what cost her a chance to win the gold. But and the 9th best time in the fourth run. So she's got a love-hate relationship with this track. But you know, the first 50 meters, there's nobody on the planet that can touch her. But where'd it go? This looked okay, Greg. Where'd it go wrong?
Well, coming into Kreisel, she's going to clip the wall right as she's going in and push the sled away. So you have to work and then exit turn 14. This looks pretty good here, actually. The sled's a little bit of a drift, but that's not where the speed is. But John, look, you see the tracks in the snow or in the ice, the frost, just like we saw in the men's race. 10 sleds in, starting to build up, and it's going to be a fight for the rest of the athletes coming down the hill to gain speed.
Next up, a familiar face, Katie Eulander from the United States. Katie's top 7 in the World Cup, 8th in this race a couple weeks ago. Ooh, she just drifted to the left.
It's like she's touched the wall there going into 1. That's not what you want. 5:70, so she had the 8th fastest start time. Katie Eulander may be the most, oh wow, big wave on the first pressure of the Omega. What I was about to say is Katie may be the fiercest competitor I have ever met in my entire life. She firmly has a chance to win any race she gets into. It's not exactly perfect right now. Ooh, big waves again.
Well, she was 5th last week in Winterberg, her best finish of the season. But she was winning races. When she was winning races, it was 10 years ago. You know, she has had some long career. Boy, she's top 10 she's now, hoping for. Yeah, she's top 10 maybe. Ooh, that was late. 8.
There you
so
go.
She held it together on the bottom.
It's going to be hard to do much better than that with the frost. I mean, you can see right now this is almost 3 seconds slower than they were racing 2 weeks ago. It's totally different. She's not happy with that at all.
Her, Tina Herman, you can tell how what they just did by their mannerisms, the looks on their faces. That mistake right there.
That was a big hit, actually. You saw it actually pick the sled off the ice.
And here in the, look at this. This wasn't perfect.
Yeah, this was the run that wasn't for Katie.
Yeah, it's tough to be perfect.
And clip there as well. Just, it got away from her. And that happens so quickly here on this Altenberg track. It just, one little thing happens and it snowballs on you.
Kimberly Boss, the World Cup leader from the Netherlands. Boy, she come out in second, 6th in this race 2 weeks ago, and then she won the race in the Dutch Alps in Winterberg, Germany last weekend. I think that's
5:49. Strong start time for Kim. She's on fire recently.
Dutch gold medal in a major World Cup skeleton event ever. Sensitive
1800s up. She had to steer pretty hard in the Omega. The second wave, I think the first wave got away from her a bit. She corrected it well, but red numbers. So she's a 1/4 of a second behind Tina. It's only the 7th fastest speed going into Kreisel. So Kim's got some work to do. She's still got the 8th fastest run, so she looks like she's got a top 10 in her right now. See if she can claw back some of that here at the bottom.
2 weeks ago, she was 6th. She's got about a 70-point lead on Nicotina in the World Cup standings. This isn't perfect, but the track's frosting up. We both know that. 8th. She wasn't 8th in the first run 2 weeks ago.
Once again, I think that might be, there's some stuff that she could have cleaned up there, but given the deteriorating conditions, that might be, all that she's able to do. And Kim's thinking, eye on the prize. She's looking ahead toward the Olympic Games as well. It's nice having that gold vest, though. You see entrance into the Omega. She actually skid the sled twice. Yeah, she caught it well on the end, but that was a lot. You can't do that in the frost. She knows that. And then, the double tap 14 to 15. A couple of places you make mistakes. Like I said, they add up on you really quick. But, once again, that's a top 10 run for Kim, and she'll, have an opportunity in the second heat to fix some of those things.
Next up from Italy, Valentina Margaglio, and she had a real issue the last time down. She crashed in the race 2 weeks ago in the second run in your favorite Omega curve 5 combination.
See what she does here, looking for redemption. 532, good start. Good start from the Italian woman. Now
she was in 9th when she crashed. Now watch this setup. This is the gremlin for her, and she gets through there nicely.
Oh, now she's going 6/10 up. 6/10. Oh, a little clip there, though. She's a little off the upper labyrinth, and that is going to cost her speed. That's the place you want to chill out and let it build speed. Can't afford to make little mistakes through there. 5th fastest speed, a little skid on the first pressure Kreisel. So that 5/10 is going to come back, or probably 3 here. 3600ths is going to come back. It'll
pretty
be
good. She won a medal
close
in
at the line.
Innsbruck. She won a medal in Innsbruck, the first Italian medal we've ever seen in women's scouting.
Well, this is a top 3 run she's got going.
This is pretty awesome. This late in the heat, that's awesome.
Wow.
We'll take that. Look at his eye. The coach's eyes even got big there. So coming out late in the pack, you know, if you look at her, she's 11th in World Cup points, but she had a 5th, a 3rd, a DNF here, and an 8th last week. So she's been pretty consistent other than curve 4 or 5 here.
Yeah,
She's
but
a
when you
big hope
start
for
with a
Italy.
532, when you start with a 532, you give yourself a chance. And then when you put together a good drive like that, that's the way how you do it right there. So, and that's a redemption run for her too. You know, now she's got it in her back pocket. She knows she's got it in race conditions, and she can really go for it in the second heat. But a solid run from Valentina. I know she's going to be stoked with that.
Jacqueline Lolling. She's ranked 12th in World Cup. Wow, that is not the Jacqueline Lolling that we're familiar with. She didn't make the cut in Innsbruck. That was shocking. But she had her 4th place finish last week, her best finish of the season up in Winterberg. 9th in this race 2 weeks ago.
Well, she will not be in the 30s on the start here, but what Lolling does is she brings speed late, 596. So she's got some work to do. Like I said, she's used to that, though.
And the track, it's, you know, the deteriorating conditions of the track, as we both know.
Good line through the Omega. She's letting it build speed nicely. This is what Lolling does through this section of the track, just building speed. Nice exit of turn 9. She should put on a clinic here through Kreisel. 6th fastest speed coming in.
She's way back. This has been her season. 4th in the World Championships here last year. You know, this is a female who's just been one of the dominant sliders in the last 4 years.
She's back in 10th. So
back.
But 15th start, back to 10th. She's clawing it back. Still be a top 10 run. 10th. So pushing 7/10 slower than Nicotina. And she
this
clawed
isn't
it back
the Jacqueline, not the Jacqueline Lolling I'm used to. The whole season. You know, 4th last week, I thought maybe she's going to come out of her slump. But, Greg, can people get in slumps in this sport? You know, can you? You know,
there's a lot that happens. There's a lot that happens between the ears in this sport. It's very cerebral. But when you push 596 in the frost, which then, you know, spreads it out even more, you know, that's tough. The fields this year on both the men and the women are pushing so much faster. It's just, it's becoming harder and harder.
Margaglio just came down with some great, you know, so you know, maybe she was an exception to the rule. Mimi Ravina from Canada, who just medaled her first time of the year last weekend, 3rd up there. And she had 14, 11, and 18 in the 3 previous races, so maybe it's time for her to start turning the podiums on here.
Little skid on to turn 4. And that cost her. That took her from green numbers up a 10th back 200ths. It's interesting seeing how these athletes are adjusting to these slower conditions. Good looking entrance to Kreisel, though. We've seen enough mistakes there.
She used to be a better starter than this, the 10th place starter. She missed most of last year with injuries. She's
driving herself into it, 10th up to 9th, holding it 9th. She's 6,700s back, but it's, as we said earlier, the race within a race. 7th best speed. Can she claw her way into 8th? No, 9th.
9th. Well, you know, what she did here, she was 18th here 2 weeks ago, so this is a better run, but it's not her bronze medal run in Winterberg last week. Again, she used to have a better start, Greg.
Yeah, 5:65, I think that's the 10th fastest start, so maybe a little bit back from what she's done in the past. But this is a long start ramp, and it's you actually have to strategize your start here compared to places like Whistler, where she's mostly based, or a Park City, of these short start ramps. You see her coming down to Kreisel, just making these little adjustments. You see her left foot sticking out a bit. Solid top 10 run for Mimi, and once again, she's got a chance to move up in the second heat.
Tina Herman's the leader. Now it's Kelly Curtis of the United States. Next up, Kelly's had some up and downs in the season. 13th here. 2 weeks ago, her best result was a 9th in Innsbruck in the first race of the year.
Little skiddy, 1-2 there. 570 start. Kelly's been driving herself into races, though. She's done a heck of a job this year, her rookie campaign on the World Cup team. She's back 0.2 of a second. The U.S. women right now are in a battle trying to qualify 3 sleds for the Olympic Games. They're currently on the outside looking in, but they're on the cusp. So she's a half second back around that 10th spot, but a 10th place finish here would be really good for Kelly. So,
and the other race within a race is her with Katie. There's only going to be 2 of these athletes in the U.S. going to the games if they don't qualify 3. Katie Eulander, well, that's who she's battling with right now.
A little wild here at the bottom for Kelly.
And she's in front of right in front of Katie Eulander by 10 hundredths. The race within a race, Greg.
It's U.S. women. They've been racing really close all season. See, exit turn 9 down the straightaway. It looks like it just broke on her a little bit there. You see a little bit of a drift. She's got that foot out trying to stabilize it, looking for that entrance into Kreisel. Exit turn 14. It's a frustrating hit. It's also kind of hurt your elbow a little bit. And then that skid going into 15.
There, yeah.
Yep. Can't do that in the frost.
There. Another American, Megan Henry. She's World Cup ranked 15th at the moment. 20th in this race 2 weeks ago.
Megan's known for her starts.
She had a top 10 in Innsbruck. She had a 7th, which was her best finish of the season. So, start. 9th best start. It's not.
Once again, this long start ramp. It's unique on the World Cup schedule. It doesn't. Fast starters don't always cross over here. Oh, a little drama going into turn 5. That's not going to help her cause. That puts her back in red numbers. So she's going to have some work to do.
Threw away that start advantage.
She's got a good Kreisel here.
Ooh, no
17th
speed.
fastest speed.
No speed.
She's dragging her toe all the way around the Kreisel. So she's going to be down on speed, 17th again. 1 second back, so she's 16th at the moment.
She's going to be scrambling here to make the cut. She's got to get in the top 15 or so here to have a chance.
It's going to be tight. This run got away from Meg a little bit. We're seeing a lot of toes in the frost.
As she knocked off 2 athletes, that's not going to be enough. That's going to be right on the bubble. And that's going to really put her behind the other 2 U.S. athletes. She is 3rd right now, ranked behind the other Kelly Curtis, Katie Eulander for the race within a race. And the other thing, too, is trying to qualify 3 sleds for the games. This didn't help right here.
Let's see the leg spread as she comes through. Turn 4 into 5. Rolls up on the entrance at turn 5 there. Doesn't quite go on her shoulder, but I mean, there's so much energy loss. You see the sled skids in pressure in turn 5, and that's just pulling the e-brake, and there's no clawing that back.
Look at these beautiful colors. Nicole Roca Silveira from Brazil. She's been pretty impressive in her only had 2 events. 14th in this race 2 weeks ago. 16th in Winterberg last week.
She won the overall North America's Cup title while not even going to Lake Placid because she just won everything, I think all but one event in the NACs to start the season.
I was out at those World Cup, those North America's Cups this week in Lake Placid, watching teams from Colombia, Vietnam, Malta. You know, it's just awesome what they've done with taking the sport to new nations. And again, she won everything going there. She wasn't even close as she was winning those races by.
She's got some good-looking lines here. Currently 8th on the splits. Nice exit of Kreisel. 5th fastest speed in the frost, John. A little bit late in at 13. That's just going to burn a bit of speed. Coming apart a bit, but still 7th fastest speed even with a couple of hits.
This is the top 10 easy. 7.
Wow.
Awesome.
7.
You wonder why?
Finding speed in the frost.
She won all those races in North America's Cup, which is not the competition this is, but she took it from the North America's Cup over here. This is a great result.
Yeah, this is fantastic. Exit turn 9. She had a good start, 5:61, so the 10th fastest start time. And then she drove through it and drove through the field to pull a couple of spots. She's going through Kreisel, had great lines, nice exit of Kreisel. She a little wild here, 14 to 15, but she had such a good Kreisel and good speed on the exit that it didn't hurt her that bad. She did a nice job of letting it fly through here. A little high, but she managed it well.
Brazil in the top 10. Anna Furstad. Now here's another athlete who, the Czech Republic she represents. She used to be on the German team. She's got, I think, a grandmother that was Czech. And, you know, we're only about 5 kilometers from the Czech border, so you could almost call this the home track.
5:88 start time for Anna. Once again, she's one of these athletes that's not known for getting it done on the start ramp. She builds speed late, so we'll see what she can do here. A little bit of a skid on the first pressure of turn 4. How much does that hurt her? She's back 1100s, she's back 3/10. So she really needs a good middle of the track here to try to negate that speed disadvantage if she wants to pull it back. Currently 16th on the charts, 4,600 back. 5th fastest speed though, that's a good thing. If you want to climb the charts, go fast.
She was 12th in this race 2 weeks ago. Her best finish
speed.
of the year.
Fastest speed of the competition in the frost, John.
This is what she does. She just runs out of track.
Where does she land? 7.
Wow.
Great run from Anna Furstad. Little trouble up top and just put her foot on the gas. Fastest speed of the competition at the exit of Kreisel in the frost. I did not think the track had it in it. I was wrong. Great run from Anna.
Yeah, coming this late, that's very impressive, but that's what she does. Her, you know, she struggles on tracks like Winterberg and Innsbruck or Park City, where there's such an emphasis on the start. Here you can get away with a little bit of a deficient start, but this is what she does. She can drive a sled. There's our standings. Tina Herman, well, she's always on top of the leaderboard, it seems like. Yulia Kanakina, that's impressive, and the Italian Margaglio is in 3rd. Jacqueline Narcott from Australia. She's been out on tour. She knows this track. She was 9th here 2 weeks ago. Excuse me, no, that's wrong. Take that back. She was 15th here 2 weeks ago.
Ooh,
big mistake.
Big mistake going into turn 3. You can't do that with the 18th fastest start. That's not going to help her. She recovered well through Omega. She's 7/10ths back right now. She's currently in 20th. Now, Jackie's a good pilot, so she's got some work to do. Currently on the bubble is Andrea from Switzerland. She's trying to bump her off. 15th fastest speed will help.
She's made the cut in every race so far this season.
16th fastest speed.
She's 20th. She's right on the bubble.
It'll be close. Still 16th fastest speed. She needs a really good last couple of corners. 19. So she did.
I don't know if she can say she's safely in. She's got a chance.
There's a few left to have a chance, but 19th is better than 20th right now, that's for sure. So she bumps out Caroline, from Switzerland. See her 2 to 3, just comes over and taps that wall, and that is a speed killer. Because you're going so slow, and it just magnifies any mistake that you make. So you're going through Omega. She handled it well. But I think that may see her in, but there's a couple that have a chance for sure. It'll be close.
Brogan Crowley of Great Britain is our next athlete. 18th in the World Cup. Did not make the cut the last 2 weeks, including 24th here 2 weeks ago. So she's got a little vendetta that she wants to take out on the track.
What she can do. 5:48, so 6th fastest start time. Now this is what we've seen. With these British sleds, the British women have been pushing very well and have been driving well, but does the sled have the speed in it? Ooh, a little early into turn 5 there. Seems like she managed it well. She's got 1600ths of a second in the bag. Watch the line. She should be building speed through here. And she a little touch on the right. 2,600 back, but only the 19th fastest speed, John. Where's the mistake that makes that 19th fastest speed?
Well, she finished 24th here 2 weeks ago, so she doesn't have a lot of love for this track.
Nice run, 14
she's
to 15
hanging in the. She's going to make the cut, though. This will be much better run.
Top 15.
This is a good run for her.
14th. That's excellent.
Well, for not making the cut to 14, she's going to be 15th or 16th at the worst.
Yeah, so that's a solid run for Brogan.
Hey, you know, in sliding in my day, it was the man or the women against the mountain. That's what this track is here. I'm sure she knows what happened to her 2 weeks ago. This got to make her feel much better, though. She's going to have a second run.
So you're coming down the straightaway into the Kreisel. She doesn't actually touch the wall. You're willing it back over because you want to be on the other side of the track going into Kreisel. She does just that. The track still has a little bit of speed into it. That bumps Jane Chanel out of the field. Jackie Narcott on the bubble.
Taruda from Latvia next up, and she's 20th at the World Cup points, but she did finish 17th here. Her only time that she made the cut in the races, the 5 previous races, was right here. So she likes this track. You've mentioned this track has a lot in common with Latvia and Sigulda, right?
Yeah, this is one of those tracks you have to attack it as if it's on purpose. You have to stay ahead of this track, which is similar to if you can slide Sigulda, you can slide Altenberg, that's for sure. Also, her training partners aren't too shabby. Two guys named Dukers. They know a thing or two about getting down the track on a skeleton sled. So we'll see what she can do here. She's currently 20th, but 14th fastest speed.
Martin Stukar's won the men's skeleton race this morning, coming from behind. The greatest of all time. She's right on that bubble.
Yep. Once again, Jackie Narcott on the bubble.
Oh, she's
20th.
moved up now. She's gonna bump Jacqueline. Yeah, she's coming late here. 18. She'll take that.
Yep. That will most likely see her in the field.
Yeah, for sure.
And that puts Megan Henry on the bubble. A good run from India. So you're coming through the Omega corner here, the turn 4 on a skeleton sled. This is circled on everybody's track notes. It's the place you have to get right. She did a good job there. Then 14 to 15 up and over the brow. Once again, that's uphill and then over a negative G. Really hard to keep the sled straight there. A solid run from Terada.
So she will be in the field. Now we have one of our sliders from China, Yulang Lin, whose World Cup rankings.
She was 16th here 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and 15th last week, so I don't know. This
got a chance.
Got some potential. Start time
5:67.
Pedestrian.
She needs a hot run. So 14th on the slot right now. Her goal right now is to get into the field. Clean through the Omega. That will help. Green numbers back to red, which if you expect, Tina Herman is incredibly good. A little bit off in this upper labyrinth, though. We talked about going through there. Your whole job is just to build speed. So if you're dropping runners and touching the wall, you're not doing that. But she's 12th fastest speed, up to 14th on the charts, John.
This is the top Chinese slider. Numbers in the field.
Again, Megan Henry on the bow. Yeah, big skid though, going into 15.
There. Still got plenty of time in the bank to qualify.
You will see at the line, 15th. So Lynn is in.
Megan Henry's out.
Megan Henry is out.
On the bubble is another Chinese athlete, Zhu. So there was a lot of good things we were looking at here, but this didn't help.
It was a mistake that she handled well. You want to be where she's at right now. Just prefer not to zigzag down the straightaway to get there. And then exit turn 14, up and over the brow. You see the sled breaks loose. You can see the entire profile of the runner, so you know it's not going straight. I'm impressed with how the track has held up here, John. During the men's race, it seemed like it went away.
I agree. Lisa Crippa now from Italy. She's only made the cut once of the 4 previous races, and it was last week in Winterberg. 25th here 2 weeks ago, so she's got some challenges in front of her.
Good start, 5:67. Starting 25th, and you have a 14th fastest start. Oh, but a big mistake on the exit at turn 2. Actually almost flips the sled. So we'll see that in the replay. Haven't seen that all day. It looks like it just got away from it.
Turn 2. Not what you want to do on this Altenberg Bahn.
Now that takes her from 14th back to 22nd, now 24th. She has a lot of work to do, and that's not the Kreisel that's going to get it done. She's back on speed, 21st best speed, 24th position. I don't see her making the field with that. Zhu, the Chinese athlete, may breathe a sigh of relief. Survive another sled. Yeah, Crippa will miss the field with that. That mistake in 2, that was everything.
Well, she finished 24th a couple weeks ago, and she's 25th, so she's 24th here. Pretty much, you know, what she did, and you know, she's a new slider. Decent start time.
There it is, exit turn 2. She tried to skip the corner. She got bumped away on the entrance and just never got on the profile. And then we see her here in Kreisel. She had her toe down. We got to put it down a little more than that. Big wave up near the woodwork, and just didn't quite have the timing. You see her get picked up again. This is the 4th pressure I talked about earlier. Just kind of picks you up on the end, and then is really high on the exit. You come over and hit the wall and skid, and that's just hitting the brakes here in the frost.
So she'll retire for the day. Kelly Delca, now from Puerto Rico, and hasn't made the cut in the 2 World Cups. She came over from the North America's Cup, 23rd in this race 2 weeks ago, 25th last week in Winterberg, and a lot of that has to do with her 24th best start.
5:92 start time for Kelly, so she does have some work to do. Nice run through the Omega, though. Clean line there. She's 6/10 back, but she's not. Her battle is not with Herman. Her battle is looking for Zhu in 20th. Her goal here is to make the cut. So she's in 24th at the moment, up to 23rd, but 25th best speed. A lot of toes. You hear the scraping. So there's a lot of toe action in the Kreisel. 24th best speed. She's back to 24th position. She needs to put it together here if she wants to make the top 20. She needs big speed out of 14. Does not get it. 25th best speed.
No, pretty much what she did a couple weeks ago. 25th. That's exactly what she did a couple weeks ago. 26th. Well, we got one more sled to go to determine the field. Zhu of China is on the bubble. This athlete here, coming up, Agatha Bessard, she has not made the cut in any one of the 4 previous races. Kelly Decker here, but one more sled to go to determine the field. Bessard from France. She's got a task in front of her.
One of the coolest helmets in the field, by the way. I love her helmet. The beaver. It just looks really nice.
Well, she definitely is on the podium for a helmet, but now she needs to find a way to get down here and get in the field. She has not made the cut yet in 4 races.
Well, what better time than the present?
25th best start doesn't help.
But that's a good-looking line through turn 4, through the Omega, and with the group that she's fighting against, that will help.
She just improved to 21st at that pass split.
Ooh, little bit of skid.
18th best speed. Oh, she disappears though.
Needs a good exit of Kreisel. Little tap on the wall. 21st best speed. So she's back to 21st in the time slot. She's got to be clean here at the bottom. She has a chance. Good exit of 14. That'll help, but 22nd best speed won't help. Back and forth. 23rd, she's falling back.
Not going to do it. So the field will be set right there.
Oh, wow. She got close.
She got close to 15. Back. Yeah, 1400ths off. Qualifying for her first ever second run of the season. But she definitely improved from the last time she was here. Last time she was here, she was 22nd, so she moved up at least 1 spot. 1500ths.
I mean, this might have been it right here. She's back and forth in the straightaway, heading down to Kreisel, just trying to work it over. We see her here after the first wave, gets down, almost completely disappears, then back up fairly high. And it just looks like her timing's a little off with those toe steers. She's driving down while going down, and that's just making the problem a little bit worse.
Well, we've seen this before. Tina Herman is leading. She won the World Championships on this track. She won here a couple weeks ago. She won the pre-Olympic test in China. She's the World Cup lead, or she's second World Cup, third in World Cup points though. But on this track, she is the dominant force.
Yeah, no surprise seeing Tina at the top of the charts here. We got a race on our hands, John.
Yeah, look at the Italian in third, Flock. Wow, Kim Meilmans from Belgium's good run, tied 5th with Hannah Nice. And our World Cup leader, when the board changes, Kimberly Boss in 12th. Boy, she's got to watch out. She's going to lose her World Cup lead. She's going to have a good second run to maintain that World Cup lead. And then here, 21 through 27 will not get the second heat. Altenberg, difficult place to slide.
Surprising seeing Megan Henry down to 22nd. That is, I think, the surprise of the day.
Well, we'll be back for the second run. You know, probably about a half hour from now. Maybe the fog will clear out here in Winterberg, but second run coming up in Altenberg. The track, they say, is too tough to take. Stay with us.
Skeleton-Weltcup-Wochenende in Altenberg am und im Sachsen-Energie-Eiskanal.